long before Jabba the Hutt held sway over the shadows of Tatooine. When the sands were still wild and legends had yet to be written, there was a darkness more ancient and more terrible. In the era when the galaxy trembled beneath the shadow of the Hutt Empire, one name was whispered in fear: Gorga the Eternal. He was no mere crime lord. He was an emperor, his dominion stretching across 12 star systems, his cruelty echoing from the slave pits of Nar Shaddaa to the gladiator arenas of Tatooine. For 8 centuries, his reign was unchallenged. Entire worlds paid tribute. His palace, carved from the living rock of a Tatooine cliff, rose like a fortress from the sands, impregnable and vast. But legends are often born in the most unlikely of moments. For in this age of oppression and terror, a lone Jedi stepped from the shifting dunes, cloaked in mystery and purpose. His name was KAEL Dorin, and he would become the spark that ignited hope in the darkest of times. KAEL's journey to Tatooine was not one of glory or ambition. His path was marked by the suffering of the innocent. He followed the whispers of entire populations vanishing, the trails of smoke and ash from villages razed to the ground. He saw families torn apart, children shackled, their tears lost in the endless sands. The Jedi Council, bound by politics and tradition, called this horror beyond their jurisdiction. But KAEL called it an abomination. He could not turn away, not when the Force itself seemed to cry out for justice. Haunted by the memory of a burning village, KAEL's resolve hardened. He remembered the laughter of Hutt enforcers as they herded the helpless into cages. He remembered the silence of the council, the weight of inaction. With quiet determination, KAEL swore to bring light to this darkness, even if he had to stand alone against an empire. His first move was not open confrontation, but silent rebellion. For 3 months, KAEL became a ghost within Gorga's palace. He moved through shadows, his presence masked by the Force. With each passing night, more cages stood empty. The guards, baffled and terrified, spoke of a phantom stealing their prisoners away. KAEL freed nearly 3,000 souls, leaving behind only hope and confusion, and not a single life lost to violence. He struck not for vengeance, but for liberation. Yet beneath the palace, in its deepest and darkest heart, KAEL uncovered a horror beyond imagination. Gorga the Eternal, in his insatiable hunger for power and spectacle, had hunted Jedi for centuries. He kept their lightsabers as trophies, 17 in all, each a testament to the fallen. In his arena, Jedi were forced to fight to the death for the pleasure of the Hutt and his depraved court. KAEL stared in horror at the names he recognized: Master Voss, Master Kira, brothers and sisters in the Force, their memories desecrated. Gorga reveled in KAEL's discovery, mocking the Jedi's failure. Each one thought they could defeat me, the Hutt boasted. Each one died screaming for their precious Force to save them. The arena was a monument to cruelty, and the time for shadows had ended. With the world watching, KAEL stepped into the blinding light of the arena. He ignited his blue lightsaber, its glow defiant against the darkness. The crowd fell silent, sensing a moment that would be remembered for millennia. KAEL's voice rang out, carrying the weight of every life stolen, every hope crushed. Gorga the Eternal, I am KAEL Dorin of the Jedi Order. I challenge you to single combat. If I win, you release every slave and leave Tatooine forever. If you win, you get another trophy. Gorga, delighted by the spectacle, agreed. But in the ways of the Hutts, even ceremony was a weapon. He invoked the ancient rite of Khajiitic Mortos, a battle to the death with no rules except victory. The arena transformed, revealing layers of traps, shifting platforms, and deadly machinery. Gorga donned ceremonial armor, his bulk encased in ancient metal and powered by forbidden technology. He sneered, "You face not just me, young Jedi, but 800 years of accumulated power, technology, and hatred. I have killed your kind before. I will kill again." The battle began with a storm of firepower, laser cannons, rocket launchers, energy nets, centuries of stolen, forbidden weaponry unleashed in a fury. Yet KAEL was undaunted. With the Force as his ally, his movements became a blur. He ran up walls, deflected blaster bolts with perfect precision, and danced between the platforms like a phantom of light and will. Gorga bellowed in frustration, but the Jedi stood unbroken. When brute force failed, Gorga unleashed his most terrible pet, a Rancor, mutated by Sith alchemy and fused with cybernetic enhancements. Its hide was resistant to the Force, its strength monstrous. The beast charged, jaws snapping, claws rending steel. Yet KAEL, reaching out with empathy, sensed the creature's pain and rage. He spoke gently, soothing its torment, turning its heart against its master. The Rancor, once a weapon of terror, became a reluctant ally, its wrath redirected against Gorga. Enraged, the Hutt turned to psychological warfare. Holographic projectors flickered to life, replaying the deaths of every Jedi who had fallen in the arena. KAEL was forced to witness the final moments of his mentors, their suffering repeated endlessly. But instead of breaking, KAEL found strength. Closing his eyes, he reached through the Force, and the spirits of the 17 fallen Jedi answered. They lent him their strength, their hope, their will to fight on. Master Voss's spirit whispered, "We have been waiting, young one. Finish what we could not." With eyes glowing with the light of the Force, KAEL declared, "I am not alone. I carry the light of all who came before." Cornered by KAEL's unbreakable resolve, Gorga revealed his true cowardice. He seized the enslaved audience, threatening to slaughter them if KAEL advanced. "One step closer and I kill them all. You Jedi are so predictable, always choosing others over victory." KAEL's heart ached with the impossible choice, but the Force revealed a deeper truth. Many in the crowd were not victims, but willing accomplices who had helped capture and kill Jedi for profit. KAEL's compassion had been twisted, weaponized against him. With this revelation, KAEL cast aside his restraints. No longer chained by misplaced mercy, he unleashed the full might of the Force. Every trap, every weapon in the arena became his to command. He shielded the true innocents while turning Gorga's own creations against their master, T.